Redesigning Finance for FPO Growth. Farmer Producer Organization Chapter 6 Part 6. Redesigning finance for growth of farmer producer organizations is now more critical than ever. Even the most committed and well organized FPOs cannot operate or expand without timely, affordable, and suitable access to finance. Across India, field realities reveal a consistent pattern. FPOs that lack working capital to procure the produce, liquidity to stock agriculture inputs, or modest investment to build basic infrastructure such as drying yards or storage sheds are left operating on margins. This financial bottleneck prevents them from negotiating better prices, seizing market opportunities, or planning beyond the next harvest cycle. However, traditional rural finance structures have rarely matched the needs of smallholder collectives. Formal credit systems, often modeled on large enterprises, impose rigid repayment schedules, demand collateral, and fail to account for the seasonal nature of agriculture. These constraints have not only created operational stress for many FPOs but in some cases have undermined trust in institutional finance altogether. According to NABARD's 2023 review of 4,000 FPOs, only 27% had access to formal working capital credit through banks or NBFCs. Of these, a large portion reported timing mismatch between when the loans were disbursed and when funds were actually needed, particularly during procurement or sowing seasons, rendering the support ineffective. The key lesson from these experiences is that financial ecosystem around FPOs does not merely need expansion, it needs a fundamental redesign. The more successful financing models in field exhibit a few foundational principles. One of the most important is aligning financial cycles with realities of agriculture. For instance, working capital loans that are structured to allow repayment post harvest when cash flow materializes show higher repayment rates and better financial health. Monthly EMIs, in contrast, often prove burdensome when income is seasonal and delayed. Another important innovation is the use of blended finance, a mix of grants, patient capital, credit guarantees, and low interest loans. This approach reduces risk for new or small FPOs while encouraging financial discipline. In Barmet district of Rajasthan, for instance, a cumin producing FPO received 10 lakh rupees as grant-based equity, which was combined with a 15 lakh rupees working capital loan guaranteed in part by NABARD. This blend allowed the FPO to procure and store produce instead of rushing to sell at harvest times lows. Over 3 seasons, this not only improved price realization but also built a healthy repayment track record, preparing the FPO for future credit on commercial terms. Training and literacy are equally essential. FPOs that have made financial management training a priority, teaching leaders how to read balance sheets, plan for seasonal cash needs, and monitor debt ratios show far lower rate of default and better use of funds. In several cases, simple exercises in budgeting and cost tracking helped farmer boards understand why previous ventures failed and what was needed to break even. Lastly, the idea of relationship banking, where one officer or financial partner works closely with the FPO over time, has proven much more successful than one off loan approvals. This approach builds familiarity, trust, and adaptive flexibility. In Madhya Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, banks that assigned dedicated officers to FPOs were able to tailor products over time, respond to crop losses or market shocks, and help restructure loans where needed, all of which contributed to higher credit absorption and repayment. These observations point to a reimagined financial architecture for FPOs, one that responds to crop calendars, market cycles, and grassroots realities. Finance, when designed through thoughtfully and delivered with empathy, become not just a means of survival but a catalyst for skill. The next section will explore how building supportive institutional ecosystem spanning market access, infrastructure, and governance form the fourth foundational pillar in the roadmap for robust and sustainable farmer producer organizations. Thank you.